Does fear of failure stop you in your tracks and stop you from achieving your goals? If so, then this video is for you. Hi guys, Elliot from Playaway Global here, and in today's video we are talking about the fear of failure. Now, for a lot of people, that fear of failure can really stop them in their tracks and stop them from trying to achieve their dreams, their goals and their aspirations. So what we've done to help you out is we've compiled a video from some of the world's most successful people, and where they talk about their fear and their fear of failure and how they overcome that. So get your notepads ready, there's a ton of value here and I hope you enjoy it. Let's hand it over to David Goggins.
But see, you have to make a list of the things that you don't like to do. This list should be very long. Like if you don't like making calls, the very first thing you should do is start making a shit ton of fucking calls. Because why? That begins to own you. You start to drive yourself this way versus this way. But you'll figure out, if you start making a whole bunch of fucking calls, if you like calling, call a lot. Guess what happens?
You get over it.
You get over it. So what we do a lot is, I heard a lot of people say, triple down on this, triple down on most of your strength. No. That works for a lot of things, but when you're afraid and you don't have the courage, you have to triple down on your weaknesses and make that become where you start to guide yourself. Okay, I don't like calling. Today I'm making 100 calls. I'm gonna dial 100 times.
Say that one more time. Everybody talks about triple down on your strengths, right? Play to your strengths. There's a million books on that.
Yes.
And the way I heard it was like what you fear is going to own you more than the power of your strengths. So you got to attack. I mean, if I get
it's
that
100%
the right way?
true. So I have my book here, but what happens is, when I was younger, life and society made this big world with all these endless fucking possibilities. Endless possibilities. My life made my possibilities this fucking big. Because it made me afraid of all these different things. So all this stuff trapped my mind, it shackled my brain, it made me a prisoner within my own self, saying, this is all I can do. Because why? I'm afraid of this, I'm insecure over here, I got self-doubt over here, back behind me, good Lord, who knows what's behind me? I'm not gonna look behind me. So your life is this big. Versus it being like, I can do all this shit out here if I start to break down these these different walls and barriers. And that's what I started realizing. I could become a Navy SEAL. I could become this, but I was afraid of the water. Think about this.
I know.
Why the fuck are you gonna go be a Navy SEAL when all you do is play in the water? And we don't play, we're in it and we're living in it.
You're tying
the ocean.
You're swimming for
miles. That's right, the ocean is unforgiving. So my mind is, I'm gonna go be a Navy SEAL. If I didn't face that fear, no one would ever know me. I was number 3 behind Michelle Obama for a long time until my book sold out. And I was a guy just 21 years ago who was 300 pounds, could barely read and write, and now I have a book just 2 spots behind Michelle Obama. Guess why?
Hopefully we get it above today.
Right. Just because I was afraid. But you overcome those fears, guess what happens? The whole world, you unlock this door, and everything opens back up again. So for me, I was like, hang on a second. I started studying my mind a whole bunch while growing up, facing these things. Don't listen to anybody's fucking dialogue but your own. They're tired, they're not you. So it's just all about, it's just, your mind has a tactical advantage over you at all times. It knows your weaknesses, it knows your strengths, and it will guide you into your nice comfort zone. We have to reprogram our mind to get like a different vantage point, so then you know how to be in charge of yourself versus your mind being in charge of you.
Well, first of all, I'd say I actually think I feel fear quite strongly. So it's not as though I just have the absence of fear. I feel it quite strongly. But there are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough, that you do it in spite of the fear.
So speaking of important things,
like people shouldn't think people shouldn't think, well, I feel fear about this and therefore I shouldn't do it. It's normal to feel fear. Like there'd have to be something mentally wrong if you didn't feel fear.
So you just feel it and let the importance of it drive you to do it anyway.
Yeah, actually something that can be helpful is fatalism, to some degree. If you just accept the probabilities, then that diminishes fear. When starting SpaceX, I thought the odds of success were less than 10%. And I just accepted that actually probably I would just lose everything. But that maybe would make some progress. If we could just move the ball forward, even if we died, maybe some other company could pick up the baton and keep moving it forward, so that would still do some good. Yeah, same with Tesla. I thought the odds of a car company succeeding were extremely low.
Life, and I was just wondering if you can give me a tip to overcome that fear in doing
the
it.
acknowledgement of it. I think the thing that I've come to realize in the last 4 to 5 years as it's become a bigger theme is everybody's biggest fearful secret right this second is the jail of their happiness. 100%. You know, but a lot of people don't even realize that's happening. They think that's protecting them. And so this becomes a monster game of judgment. A monster game of judgment. And you know, I don't have a tip. What I'm trying to do is bring awareness to it, right? Like, if you study how we've eliminated stigmas in our society, it's by bringing awareness to it. And that's what I think a lot about when I hear that question. You know, I just, when I'm with the closest people or if it's one-on-one, I just always ask them like, what? And usually it's only 4 to 5 people that they're worried about. Like, they don't love the judgment of Sally Pants 89. They really don't like the judgment of friends and acquaintances, but the reality is the reason they're not sharing their deepest shit is it usually involves a core 5 person in their life. You know, like it's actually for humans easier to share your story because it's agnostic than making a video and saying that their father sexually abused them, or that they don't love their spouse, or that, you know, they stole a lot of money once, or like, what, you know, like whatever, you know, like, you know, it's hard for a lot of people to go there because the judgment of others is a framework we all live in.
Yeah, I think for me the hardest part is, you know, I have a massive scar, and a lot of people sometimes worry what they think. And me being very fit when I was, you know, back in the day,
that was your identity.
It's very hard to share some of that, you know, share my actual part of me now.
You know what I think about this? Do you remember like in high school when you had a zit? Like you thought about that shit heavy. The reality is nobody gave a fuck because they had their own fucking zit. And that's how I think about all this shit. Like, I think people would be flabbergasted by how nobody really gives a fuck. What makes it super easy for me with all the, you know, attention I have is ultimately, I know you don't give a fuck. You can't, it's not your fault. You have to worry about yourself. We watch some of the most iconic people. Look at the society we live in now. Iconic people that have brought so much value in whatever they do, pass away, they trend on Twitter for 4 hours, they get a little love maybe on an Instagram post, and the next day everybody moves on with their life. That's liberating. Nobody gives a fuck about the scar on your stomach, bro. Because we have our own scars in different ways. That's my answer to why it's so easy.
You know, I actually took this question from Twitter and I answered the question in one word. You've lived a life dominated by doubt and fear. How do you step into bravery? Step. That's how you step into bravery. Step. Take the step. Step aggressively towards your fear. And that step towards your fear is the step into bravery. Because we're scared of what we don't know. And there is only one way to learn and to know, and that is to confront that fear. You have to step, you have to go. And this simple action, this simple attitude, it answers so many questions. So many questions. How do you get to the gym every day? You step. You go. How do you change your diet? You step. You go. How do you overcome fear of failure or fear of success or fear of fear itself? You step. And how do you face the fear of the unknown? You step. Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No, no, and no. Instead, be aggressive. Take action now. And what is the first action that you need to take? What's the first step you need to take? The first step you need to take is just that. Step.
With every milestone, while you might be excited about the milestone, there's a part of the milestone that you don't want to face. Are you hearing me? And listen to me. I knocked out the coursework, boom, got it done. In order. E.T., why did it take you 2 years, E.T., after you finished your coursework? Why did it take you 2 years to get started with the dissertation? I'm going to be 100 with you. Look, knocked all the coursework out. But when I finally got to the dissertation, I had to get to that demon. I had to deal with it. I had to face it. Face what? We're not talking about elementary school, middle school, high school. I've had a professor or two tell me in college that you will never get your dissertation, that while your writing has improved, but in terms of your analysis, like, you are not critical enough to do a dissertation. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? We're talking about, look, math, I love math coming up. Why? It is what it is. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Like, it is what it is, right? It's not subjective. Writing is subjective. I've had teachers to look at my work and strip it into parts. The fear of what? The fear of rejection, right? My teachers were so subjective. I put my whole heart into it. I put everything I could put, and they tell me, edit it again. Revision after revision, edit after edit. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? I had to deal with the fact that writing has never really been my strong suit. And even though I've worked hard and I put in hours and hours, in the back of my mind, I could hear the teacher say, E.T., you don't have what it takes to get a dissertation. I'm a grown man dealing with that fear. I'm a grown man of dealing with the rejection of getting all that red on my paper, of having to do it over and over and over and over. And come on, somebody feels me. You feel like you'll do 120%. You'll give everything you have and it still won't be enough. I feel you. I was there. A part of the milestone is, what if I give everything and it ain't enough? What if I put my whole heart, my whole mind, my whole soul into it, E.T., and it's not enough? What if I do it and I fail? And so I feel you. So you just like, you're not going to do it at all because you'd rather not do it and find out the truth. And I'm telling you, you got to do me a favor. You got to face your fear, and you got to do it anyway. Your boy E.T. had to face his fear. That's right. Yep, I know. You see E.T. beast mode, and you're right. I am beast mode. But it don't mean beast mode without fear. It don't mean beast mode without a little anxiety. It don't mean beast mode and I'm just 120% sure. No, I have to live by faith too. And I made up in my mind, E.T., you got to go after it, E. Look, I finished my coursework. It took me 2 years. Why? Because it took me 2 years to get over the fear. It took me 2 years to get over the anxiety. It took me 2 years to finally say, Goliath, here I come. Goliath, you might be taller than me. You might be bigger than me. You might be stronger than me, but I'm coming. And I'd rather die trying. I'd rather die going after this dissertation. I'd rather give everything I got. I'd rather give a year. I'd rather put in work and fail to not try. It's your boy E.T. saying, look, some of y'all, you feeling me. You got to get past this part. And once you get past this part, we in the clear. So remember, if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's not going to be easy, but it's doable. It's doable. So do me a huge favor. Try so that you can make the rest of your life the best of your life and not get stuck at this point in your life. but get past this point. Because on the other side of that fear, on the other side of that anxiety, on the other side of that doubt is your breakthrough, is your milestone.
Oh no, fear is everything. Yeah, like if there was one concept that I would suggest to people to take a daily confrontation with is fear. The problem with fear is that it lies, right? So fear tells you, hey, you know, if you say that to that girl, she's gonna know she has you, you know, and she'll never really be attracted to you if she knows how much you attracted to her. Don't say that, no. How we get her is when she walks by, ignore her.
Right, it's a smooth,
You know, it's like
pop it on your shoulder.
fear tells you dumb shit like that, right? You know, so you know, for me, the daily confrontation with fear has become a real practice for me since about three years ago. I went skydiving in Dubai, right? And skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear, right? So I gotta stand up. I'm sorry, I gotta stand up. All right. So all your friends, what happens? You go out. Oh, sorry. I dropped my thing. Yeah. So what happens is you go out the night before and you take a drink with your friends, and somebody says, "Yeah, we should go skydiving tomorrow." And you go, "Yeah, we'll go skydiving tomorrow." "Yeah, yeah." And you go, "Yeah." And everybody goes, "Yeah." Right? And you go home you by yourself. You're like, Right? And you're like, well, I mean, they was drunk too. Right? So maybe they not. Maybe. I mean, we don't have to go. We don't have to do it. So then that night you're laying in your bed and you just keep. And you're terrified. You keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane, and you can't figure out why you would do that, right? And you're laying there and you have the worst night's sleep of your life, but you still have the hope that your friends were drunk, right? So you wake up the next day and you go, down and you say where you were going to meet, and everybody's there. You're like, oh, shit. All right, cool, right? So you get in the van and you don't know that your friends had the same night that you had because they're pretending like they didn't. They're like, yeah, man, my uncle's a Navy SEAL, and this is going to be great. I've been looking forward to this. And you're like, oh my God. And your stomach is terrible. You can't eat and everything, but you don't want to be the only punk who doesn't jump out of this airplane. So you get there, and then you have this safety brief. And you're standing there, and the guys will tell you, well, if the chute doesn't open, what's going to happen is well, why the hell, what could happen? That the chute wouldn't open, right? So you do a thing, and what you do is your first jump, you're attached to a guy who is going, he's going to walk you out. So you go, and you get there, and there's an airplane, and nobody's stopping. Everybody's still going. So you get onto the airplane, and you're sitting there, and it's extra because you're sitting on some dude's lap, some stranger. He's sitting on his lap, and it's like, trying to make small talk. Yeah, man. So you be jumping with people all the time, huh? Right? So, and then you just want to make sure, you got kids, right? You got people you need to see, right? You just want to make sure he's serious, right? So you get in there, so everything's normal. So you fly and you go up to 14,000 feet, and you notice there's a light. It's red, and it's yellow and green, right? So right now the light's red. So then you start thinking at some point the light's going to go green, but you don't know what's going to happen, right? And you wait, and it goes yellow, and the light goes green, and somebody opens the door, and in that moment you realize you've never been in a freaking airplane with the door open. Right? Terror. Oh, sorry, I'm spitting. Oh, sorry. No, terror. Right? So you go, and then, if you were smart, you sat in the back so you don't go first, right? And then people start going out of the airplane. And you go, and the guy walks you up to the end of the thing, and you're standing, and your toes are on the edge, and you're looking out down to death. And they say, on 3. And they say, 1, 2, and he pushes you on 2 because people grab on 3, right? Right? And you go, and you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying, right? It doesn't feel like falling, right? It's like you actually are kind of held a little bit by the wind, and then you start falling, and there's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. It's bliss. It's bliss. And you're flying. Right? And you're doing that. And then 20 seconds, 25 seconds, 40 seconds. And you have enough time to just kind of be like, oh, shit, that's that building. That's not like that one. Oh, you can see the ocean. Right? You start doing all of that. And the lesson for me was, why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Just don't go. Why are you scared in your bed 16 hours before you jump? Why are you scared in the car? Why could you not enjoy breakfast? What did you need that? The fear is fear of what? You're nowhere even near the airplane. Everything up to the stepping out, there's actually no reason to be scared. It only just ruins your day. You don't have to jump. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of terror. On the other side of your maximum fear are all of the best things in life. That, I'm telling you, the confrontation with fear is an absolute magical way of facing the things we have to do in this life. You know, forget security, live for experience.
All right.
Fear of the future. Much of my anxiety is about what will happen to me going forward. Fear that I will lose what I already have, or that I won't get what I want. We cannot be governed by fear, but we should respect fear as a type of awareness, a type of wisdom. There is knowledge in fear. I suppose if we feel a lot of fear and anxiety, my daughter's just walked in, we should acknowledge that we are living in projections. We're not present in the moment. Muji, the great meditation teacher, from whom I get some of my sparkliest blankets, said, we are more than just a vessel for concepts. When you are feeling something, when you are projecting something, try to identify more with the observer of the phenomena rather than the phenomena itself. Say, for example, I'm frightened because I'm flying to America for 3 months to be in the TV show Ballers. What is the nature of the fear, really? I feel like I can get something from being in Ballers, like maybe things will go well and I'll be in Ballers again. Well, that happened last time and it did not resolve my spiritual problems. Fear is a call, as are all physical sensations, to move closer to God, except for things like, you know, bodily symptoms. That might be a call to move closer to some vitamin C or a physician. So there is wisdom in fear, but in many of us, myself, I would have to include in this, that instinct, that impulse, that sensation of anxiety has gone awry. I've witnessed it this way. There are probably multiple neurological networks, and sometimes my bias becomes towards the fearful one, like I live in this circuit of fear, all information causing more fear. Sometimes it takes an external influence, like a powerful mentor, to say, stop being frightened, to sort of jog me onto the positive perspective. Objective reality, they say, may never have changed, eternal and infinite, every moment continually being lived out, always, everywhere, forever. That means there is no change, there is no past, there is no future, particularly not if you can weld your consciousness to the observer instead of identifying with external phenomena. Don't fear the future because the future doesn't exist.
But I don't negotiate with my mind. I run this in my heart and soul. I don't let the brain run. I use my brain. I don't let my brain use me. The easiest way to deal with the fear of failure is to be more fearful of not taking action, to be more fearful of settling for a life that is far below what you deserve and what you desire. Everybody has a place where they get fearful. It's just the human mind, it's there. It's not that you're not going to be fearful. I think what it really is just, again, training yourself to say, I can be fearful and I can do it anyway. I don't have to get rid of the fear. I just have to dance with it. I have to use the energy of it to move myself forward. And I found in the early days, I used to when I was trying to make a decision, I would do what I called my rocking chair test. I took a helicopter ride one time. We're flying straight across all the people, bumper to bumper, no stop. This is the way to live. What would it take to, learn how to fly a helicopter? Money, time, energy, where am I gonna fit all this in? What would life be like? I'm 85 years old, I'm in my rocking chair, and I flew helicopters, and I took my friends and family and took the doors off, and we screamed down on the water, and we lived this life where you could go wherever you want the way you want. It was like, wow. I looked at what that life would be, felt incredible. And what if you never learn? What if you come up with all these fears? I don't have time, I don't have the money, I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if I can master it, and you let the fears dominate me, and I never learned to fly a helicopter, and I'm 85 in my rocking chair, and I look back on my life and I missed out on all that. But the fastest way to deal with fear is do it anyway. You don't have to feel good to do stuff. That's an illusion. Make yourself do it. What I've trained my brain is when I say do it, we do it. It doesn't matter if it feels good. It doesn't matter if it's too cold. It doesn't matter if I don't feel it. It doesn't matter if I'm fearful. I do it anyway. And when you train yourself to do it anyway, you have a freedom most people will never have.
You want me to tell, honestly, the truth is you have to be born with it. Or number two, how you can kind of curate it is you run directly headfirst at fear. Wildly crazy at fear. If you're scared to go on stage, go on stage. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, you're going to be less scared, and then do it again. If you're scared to go up to the girl and talk to her, go up to the girl and talk to her. Anything you're scared of, you can actually just attack it. And then
right,
the fear
you can just sit there and be like, fuck it,
invigorating.
I'll do it myself.
Just like your song, yeah.
I think, that is what I meant. I think here's what I think. There's another thing that I believe, which is parents do it. My mom did it for me. My mom gassed me up so much. I'll never forget being 4'11", freshman year of high school, second part of it, almost into sophomore year, 4'11" dude in high school, right? Greasy, long fucking hair because everybody was mulleting back in '89.
Yeah.
And there was something that happened. I was like, wait a minute. I'm not the best looking guy on earth. My mom had me so delusional. I thought I was the best at everything. I still weirdly carry that. Parents can absolutely do it.
Yeah.
Born with it, absolutely. Head and fear can do it. Now,
yeah,
if
the thing for me is exactly my parents. I mean, I'm got an Asian heritage background, and what they do is they tell us a lot, oh no, don't do that and don't do this,
that's why you're scared.
Yeah.
That's why you're scared. And now I'm going to get to the point, and you actually made it better. I appreciate you jumped in there because you're going to make my point even better. So now we just talked about 3 things. So cool. You're sitting at home watching Gary Vee and Russ right now, and you're like, okay, be born with it. Can't do that, right? Run into fear. Most people, 99% won't do it. That's why it's called fucking fear, right? Number 3, your parents could have done it when you were a kid. You're sitting here cool, but my parents were immigrants and said go to school, or my parents were miserable and didn't want me to succeed because misery loves company. So now you're sitting here listening to this and saying, cool, it's nice that these guys were sitting here, but fuck these 3 things they came up with. And here's the 4th, and the only one that I've ever seen in my eyes happen, and it is such a big fucking deal, and it's perfect because I love the way these 4 part of this crew interact with each other, and I watched them the other night very carefully on this issue. Here's the fucking answer for all of you of the one thing you can do. Surround yourself with people that gas each other up.
Facts.
Surround the only thing you can control is who the fuck you hang out with. And if you're hanging out with 3 kids and they are all we're never gonna get out of town, we're never gonna get out of this town. Dude, what are you talking about? You're gonna have a fucking hit song, or you're gonna start a startup. You're gonna fucking work at the factory just like the 3 of us, just like our dads did, and we're all gonna fucking die here. You need to get those fucking people out of your life. You need to, I don't talk about it a lot. I talk about cutting your most loser friend, gaining your most.
I've been doing that ever since watching your show.
So you've cut out some friends?
Yeah, no, I cut out some friends. Like now, like I mean, everyone, all my those friends back in the day. Now, like I mean, I'll talk to them here and there, but like they still go out and party and stuff, and they think I'm a loner. But I mean, I'm over here trying to do my thing, and just listening to Russ and then watching you, man. It fuels me up.
So wait a minute. Now that there's one last part, because we're your virtual friends, and that's right. That's right. But you need to add one or two people that are actually physically around you that are in the same spot as you. Right. What me and Russ were 10, 15, 20 years ago. You need to find that person, and they're there. So many people. Fucking leave a comment right now in the fucking comments.
So I hope you enjoyed that video and you got a ton of value from that. If you did, please, it mean the world to us if you can hit the subscribe button. Also, ring the bell. Make sure you get notified when we release a new video. So till the next video, see you then.